Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Y2K. My name is Blake. And today we're going to give you my first couple weeks of ownership impressions on this 2024 Lexus GX550 Overtrail Plus. A very long name. Probably could have made it simpler, but that's what this is, like the overlanding spec Lexus. I ordered this for my wife probably last June or July, so it's been about a 10-month wait, and we got it, like I said, about 2 weeks ago. So let's go ahead and put it in drive and head off through some residential streets here in sunny Florida, but also hot, currently 93 degrees. A little bit of light gravel here. Takes it like a champ, I must say. So we'll peel off through these residential streets and then get on the main highway here. There's only one, and get it up to speed. But I'll show you some low speed stuff first, and then we'll get up to highway speeds after. So first of all, it's a great looking car. It's probably one of the best looking new SUVs I've seen in quite some time. It does have some kind of Defender-esque vibes, but more masculine. The new one to me it kind of looks like a Kia Soul. No offense to Defender owners, but to me that's kind of, once I saw that, I could not unsee it. A friend brought it up to me. I think they do look a lot better with some tires and a few mods, but this looks good just the way it comes. I myself daily drive a 200 series Lancruiser Heritage, and I've enjoyed that experience, so I figured my wife has an older X5M, a 2012, and we wanted to test out the Japanese reliability, although her car has been really, really good, over 100,000 miles. But we wanted to try a new Japanese car for her, so we have two Toyotas now in the stable for daily drivers. So overall, looks great. When I got it delivered, I was very impressed. It looked just as good as the photos, probably better. But they did a good job capturing the car through all the literature and promo stuff they did. The interior, I think overall is good quality. There are some plastics, like this shifter's kind of like loose, and this kind of like presses in. My friend got one, and he went to press the memory seating, and his hand went through the the memory seat button. I don't know if he pushed it too hard, but that is a true thing that has happened in these. But overall, everything, like the steering wheel, feels nice and soft. I don't know if it's real leather, but it feels like it. Everything's soft touch. This is all very, very nice. This is even soft touch up here. I think it's a nice place to be. Some of this, like I said, over here is a little plasticky. But hey, it's a brand new car, and they don't make them quite like they used to. You know, like my old Lancruiser is just, it's a step above probably in the fit and finish. But the tech compared to my Cruiser has been much appreciated. There are some little annoying dings and dongs that I've had to go through and figure out how to turn off. Lane departure was one of them, and then this camera that looks at my eyes all the time, I don't like that, so I turned that off. Hands-free works really nice. I used it in some traffic issues, and it performed very well. Not as good as my dad's Tesla, but good enough for me. I don't really need a car to drive me around because I like to drive. Let me turn these off because it's a little bit loud. Air-conditioned seats are phenomenal. It's probably the best air-conditioned seat I've ever sat in. Interior's great. I do like these little green accents everywhere. I think it is a nice place to spend your time. I'm pretty sure this has acoustic glass, so it's really quiet in here. At higher speeds, which we will see here in the next few minutes, there is a little bit of a wind noise from this roof rack. There's big crossbars, and I'm pretty sure that's what's causing it, so I think we're going to take those off because I can't stand wind noise. It's not really bad, but it's enough to bother me, so just something to be aware of. You might want to take your cross bars off when you get one of these, and I think that'll probably fix the noise. We're doing some real low speed stuff now behind this. behind this boat. Florida, these are Florida issues, okay? People towing their boats at slow speeds. But that's okay, because we can keep talking. The seats are a little narrow. I'm 5'10" on a good day with the right shoes on, 165, and I fit in here just right. If you're bigger than me or taller, I think the headroom you're probably good, but if you're just wider than me or bigger than me, it might be a little tight for you. For me and my wife, we're both kind of smaller people, so we don't have any issues with it. But the cushioning is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like amazing, but the seats are fairly comfortable, and there's a lot of different adjustments, kind of like a BMW like ours that has like multiple different ways to have the seat brake to kind of contort to your body. Going around this guy here. So yeah, the seats a little bit narrow, overall pretty comfortable. I wouldn't say they're the best seat in the world, but they're pretty decent at keeping you comfortable and not fatigued. I haven't done a big road trip in this yet. Look at beautiful. That's so beautiful today. Looks like the Caribbean out there. Everyone's out there on their boats at the sandbar. I haven't done a big trip yet. That's what I was getting ready to say. But I think we are going to drive this from Florida to Montana here in the next few weeks. And maybe I'll give an update after that to let you know how that went. You can start to hear the wind noise now, and it's towards the back where these crossbars lay over this roof rack. So don't know if it's going to come through on the video, but it's just something you can definitely tell. So now's a good time to try out the hands-free, actually. So now we're on hands-free, and I can just focus on talking and not have to, work too hard with the steering wheel. I got the heads up right here, which you probably can't see. This guy's going to make a turn, so let's see how that goes. Did a pretty good job. A little too much brake. It's supposed to have lane change assist. I haven't got it to work. There's a traffic jam assist. I haven't got that to work either. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong or if I have to have this annoying camera on my face, but something like that. You can really start to hear the wind now. That's 60 something miles an hour. So, but I am looking forward to the trip to kind of describe, the comfort level, etc. My Lancruiser seats are a little more plush, so that's a nice thing to have just for every day, is those plush seats. The steering feel is relatively light. For every day, it's nice. It's nice to have that steering feel for me, because the hydraulic steering in my other car, once again the Lancruiser, is fairly heavy. So I do like to have that lighter steering, and it's just easier in the parking lots and everything. It does get more weighted the faster you go, so that's a nice feel to have. The engine itself and the transmission are very nice. There's a lot more power in here than other Toyotas and Lexus products I've experienced. It has almost 480 foot-pounds of torque. Horsepower is like 350, but it kind of feels diesel-like in the powertrain delivery. There's no turbo lag, and when you pull out, it has plenty of power. You don't have to give it probably over 30-40% throttle in those situations, which is really nice. And the 10-speed automatic, it doesn't really have any gear hunting or anything like that. It's a super smooth transmission. There is an annoying kind of delay when you initially take off from a stop. I'm assuming that's engineered in, or it's a tiny bit of turbo lag. Now we're hitting some traffic jam now, so we'll do a U-turn. Or maybe it's a tiny bit of turbo lag. I'm not sure. It was kind of annoying at first, but you kind of learn just to kind of give it a little more gas than you're used to in the beginning, and then everything's okay. But that did take a little getting used to, because you're like pulling out of your driveway and wondering why it's not going. So that was kind of a learning curve for both myself and my wife. We'll test out a little off-roading capability here. Fantastic. It does have 33-inch Toyo. I believe they're open countries, but they're specific to this Lexus GX550. They're not a standard AT3 or anything like that. I think it's kind of a hybrid between an all-season and an all-terrain. Give it a little power here. Still breaking it in, so not going to push it all the way, but that's 60 right there. Plenty of power compared to the Lancruiser and our, we also have a 5th gen 4Runner We keep it in a different state, and as you know, those are pretty underpowered, but it's kind of charming. I will say though that this engine, it sounds good, and the only kind of negative is it takes 93 octane, and the gas mileage has been 14.5 average, which is actually worse than the V8 and the V6 of the Lancruiser and the 4Runner we own. So I'm not sure how this is supposed to be more efficient. It's probably got less emissions, but at the sacrifice, what I can tell is if you're in the boost, then you're gonna have pretty poor fuel economy. It's supposed to do 21 on the interstate. We'll find out in a few weeks. So that was kind of surprising. The gas tank is probably the most disappointing aspect of this car. It's really small. I ran it almost dry and it was like 15 gallons. The range is probably 280, which really is not that great. I don't know why Toyota insists on putting small fuel tanks in their SUVs. I'm not sure if it's a packaging thing with all the different suspension geometry and the solid rear axles, etc. I don't think so, and or maybe it's a weight saving, but it's frustrating. I think the 4Runner has decent range, maybe like 340. Lancruisers are like 305, and this is 280. So I would like a bigger fuel tank. It's probably my number one gripe with this, and it could get frustrating on a road trip to be filling up that much, because you can probably hold your bladder longer than this thing can go. So just something to keep in mind if you plan on doing big trips, or if you don't like going to the gas station a lot. It does need to go there frequently. So yeah, those are kind of my initial first impressions of the car. It's got good tech. It's got the self-driving. It looks great on the inside and the outside. It's fairly comfortable. It does have seat massagers, which are really frustrating to get to. Really frustrating. It's like a 3-step process to get to those. But once they're on, they're really nice. I wish there was a shortcut. Everything else is just right here. And I don't mind not having buttons for that, but the seat massaging thing can be annoying. And if you have to get to some safety stuff to turn that off, it's kind of like a treasure hunt to get to all that. But I studied it and I got it done. Also, when they shipped us this car, the chair was beeping and they didn't calibrate during the PDI, the seat memory, so it knows how far it has the travel for each part of the seat. So we had to fix that. I've seen that's a pretty common issue. I don't know why dealers aren't doing a better job with that, because it was kind of frustrating when I didn't know what was happening. And every time I moved my chair, it sounded like I was like a trash truck backing up or a U-Haul. But overall, so far, we really like it. This car needed some updated tech compared to the previous Gen GX. The reliability is to be determined. Of course, we've seen the 100,000 recall Tundras that have happened because of the main bearing failures. This is a 2024, but I'm hoping that they've kind of fixed all that by the time they made this. Time will tell. That's the biggest question on these new Toyotas, is the reliability. And I will update you guys maybe after the trip we take to Montana and let you know how that went. Hopefully the seats are going to be good for long distances, because they just are a little bit tight. Got a kid on an e-bike. What a great Christmas present he got, or birthday. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Y2K. I appreciate you tuning in. This is a much newer car than I normally review, as I'm an old sports car fan, and you've probably seen that if you follow the channel long enough. I've got a couple older Ferrari and a Lamborghini, a 348 and a Diablo, so newer than I normally do, but I felt warranted, as a lot of people are considering these right now. So that's what I have to say today, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, have a great day. Bye-bye.